What's good, everybody? Back with another video. So today I'm gonna be doing another tea talk, and I'm finna take y'all along with the tea that I'm finna be harvesting. And I will have a couple ingredients that I sourced from somewhere included in this tea, but it's still gonna be good, and it's still good for the mind, body, and soul. So keep tuned. First, I'm finna harvest some lemongrass. Next, I'll be grabbing a few pieces of this basil, some of this pineapple sage. I'm gonna snag a couple strawberry leaves. If y'all didn't know, y'all could make strawberry leaf tea whenever y'all strawberries are not growing, because I don't know if y'all could see, but these strawberries, they still vining off, like they trying to go over there. It's some that's under there in the weeds trying to go into the ground. I got some branching off right here and some right here too. But just so y'all know, y'all can use the strawberry leaves for tea. They have a lot of antioxidants in it, which is very good for you. But that's what I'm harvesting from the garden portion. I'm gonna take the ingredients inside, and I'm gonna show y'all what's the tea gonna end up looking like at the end. So now I got my tea together. I ended up adding some lavender and some go-to cola to it. It's the go-to cola I grow myself. I just didn't put that in the video. And the lavender I sourced from somewhere. I'm not able to grow that at the scale that I want to at this time, but we gonna get there. So the subject of today's video is, it's getting cold and it's becoming winter time. I'm just giving a couple suggestions on what you could do in the winter months, whenever it's slow or whenever it's really cold outside, but you could still garden. So a couple things that you could do: start organizing your seeds. Start organizing the seeds that you have and the seeds that you've been saving, so that whenever the time comes next year, you'll be able to just pull them straight out and just get to work. Another thing that I like to do is to organize my tools or clean my tools, because if my tools are not going to be in as much use, because I know I'm not going to be digging so much and things like that, make sure that they're clean so they don't rust over the winter time, as well as you still want to have good clean tools for the next season. You don't want fungus to be built up on your tools. You don't want bacteria to be built up on your tools and carry that into the next year. I had went inside to get this little microphone thing right here. I don't know if it'll make a difference, but I'm just testing this out. Another thing that you can do is the herbs that you have that you harvested, you could dry those out so that you could have something for the winter that's coming up. Like I said, you got your basils, you got your sages, you have your cilantro that's probably starting to pop through right now, mint, oregano, those type of things. You could be picking those things and drying them out just so you could still be connected to nature, because I don't see winter as a time to stop gardening or to put my garden to rest. I see it as a time to come up with new ideas or just refine the skills that I already have. For example, last year, like I said, I grow microgreens. So in the winter months, there's not as many farmers markets. So what's the point of growing microgreens, right? No, not right. So I was still growing my microgreens because you're still able to use those as seasoning, or you could use those for something in your smoothies. That's something that you can do and still be connected to nature. And you don't have to be outside to grow microgreens. You don't have to have too much equipment to grow microgreens either. So you could grow them on your windowsill, you could grow them in your closet. There's a lot of ways you could grow microgreens. So that kind of brings me into my next point. Explore things that you can do on the inside, because I understand in some states it's cold, like really cold, like it snows. There is no going outside, there is no garden. Y'all can't garden because it's too cold. So that's why we go into mushrooms, microgreens, coming up with new ideas when it comes to your garden next year. Start planning for your garden next year. It's not a bad time to go ahead and starting your seedlings right now. Start your tomatoes, start your peppers, start those type of things, so that whenever it starts to heat up, you could immediately throw those things in the ground as they're well established. Coming up, I might not have as much gardening content for 2 reasons. One, it is getting a little bit colder, and the things that I do pretty much is just like peel around things. So that's why I've been doing these tea talks. I'm still gonna have these tea talks giving advice about gardening and things that I do and just sitting down with y'all and just having a good time. But the other part is I'm finna be moving. So a lot of the things that I have out here, I haven't really been planting a whole lot because I'm finna move, and I have all these things in containers, and there's only so many containers that I'm actually gonna move to the next place. Part of the reason that I'm making this video is because me, for example, like I said, I'm finna move and it's getting cold. So that's 2 different things on kind of what's holding me back mentally from going full speed with gardening. And gardening is something that I do for my own mental health, and it really helps me. So the reason I bring up this video is because there are things that you could still do to feel connected to nature, to feel connected to the outside whenever you're not actually outside. You still can be a part of the life cycle of the earth. I don't know if anybody knows what like seasonal depression is, but I tend to get that sometimes, and it's because I notice the sun isn't out as much. But since the sun isn't out as much, you have to be able to supplement things that will still be able to keep your mental track on straight. Teas, for example, that's why I love lemongrass so much. It's something about lemongrass, it just aids my sense of well-being. But that's another thing that you could do. Start experimenting with different teas. You may not grow your own herbs, but you can go online and order a few herbs offline and start making your own tea blends, because that's another thing. It's way cheaper for you to mix your own tea blends than for you to go and buy these pre-made packages, because we also have to think about it. Microplastics, aluminums, things like that. So this is just good time for you to do research on what you want to do. Another thing that you can do in this time, if you're able to, is plant your cover crops. So you may have shut down your garden for the season, but that does not mean that you have to let everything die off. Soil is a living organism. With that being said, whenever your soil doesn't have anything covering it, it doesn't have any life in it, it cannot produce life. So a suggestion that is very good is to start using cover crops like clover or arugula. You could use arugula as a cover crop. You could use mustard greens as a cover crop. You could use daikon radishes as a cover crop. But that's just so you still have life within your garden. And these are things that can still grow and you can still eat off of, but it's at least protecting your garden so that whenever you do come in the next year, you can just cut those plants and then plant directly instead of going right into very compacted soil. This will also help you not have to till as much, not have to break up the ground as much, having cover crops, because you will have living organisms inside of your soil that is helping you turn the soil, as well as whenever you cut these plants, those roots will decompose into that soil and it will be giving you nutrients in that process. This is something that I have been practicing the last couple years, and it has really been eye-opening to me reading about no dig, no till. And if y'all haven't heard of it, it is something that is very, very cool. I'm not able to do it to the extent that I would like to right now because I do containers, but I still implement it in a way. I also have the raised beds, and I've tried it in raised beds, and it really has improved as far as drainage and not have so much compacted soil, and I don't lose as much water. The water is way more contained and I don't have to water as much. But that's just me going off because I love soil. Soil is one of the most beautiful things to me because that's where it starts. That's the foundation. Be sure also too, during these winter months, if y'all are in an area where y'all have a fireplace, you could be collecting this wood ash from your fireplaces so that you have good fertilizer starting off next year whenever you start your garden back up. I will say something very positive about wintertime. Mosquitoes is leaving. I'm telling you, this past summer I was getting tore up every single day, in the morning, evening, during the day. I'm like, dang, Why is y'all up? I'm up before the sun is out and y'all still up with me. I come at a later time and they still out, and then I come at a different time and they still out. It was to the point where I was like, dang, I got to time perfectly when I go to the garden. But at least now, mosquitoes are starting to slow down. I ain't have as bad of an experience this year with ants. Last year, ants was my number1 enemy because, like me, I don't like wearing shoes. I like wearing slides all the time. So being in the garden, always, ants is gonna find you. And I had learned last year that ants, whenever they sting you, it's a certain scent that it gives off that attracts other ants to come to that area. So with that, I was like, dang, this is just some crazy things. I don't think nothing in nature is evil, but if anything is evil, that's crazy. But yeah, mosquitoes have really gone crazy this year. And that's why I have all these different plants as well. I have sage that's supposed to keep mosquitoes away. I have a geranium. I have citronella, lemongrass, and a couple others that's supposed to help keep them away, but they ain't care this year. I guess I had the sweet meat. There are a lot of things that are coming up within this gardening journey that y'all are gonna keep coming along with me for. Starting next year, it's a lot of stuff that's planned, and from that, we just gonna keep it pushing, keep it going. One of the biggest quotes I heard is, I put you on, not because I wanna put you on or specifically to see you succeed, but I put you on because you could put other people on, and they could put other people on, and from there they could put other people on. So it's like, with that mindset, that's what life is about. It's all about connection. It's all about starting from somewhere, helping someone, and those experiences helping someone else, and building upon and building upon and building upon. Like I said in the last video, that's literally what our ancestors did. That's why we so disconnected now. Our ancestors passed along information and built upon it, instead of trying to go back to the drawing board when they disagreed about something. That's a whole nother subject. But that's pretty much all I got for this video. I just hope y'all have a beautiful day, a wonderful day. And just remember, it's a beautiful day to garden.
Draining all your energy, better pull them like a weed. Undefeated in life, shit, I sprouted like a seed.